G'day Aussie Gridiron fans, welcome to a special edition of G'day Gridiron, brought to you by the Aussie Gridiron Network. It is the 2025 Bloody Best Bets, brought to you by G'day Gridiron. This is the show where we will talk about betting, we'll talk about numbers, talk about futures, all that coming up. Brad and Nick are here with me for Bloody Best Bets tonight on G'day Gridiron. We are going to talk through futures, and bets, and lines. We're going to do a real quick episode just around this. But boys, just to kick it off, it is a massive happy 4th birthday to the G'day Gridiron podcast.
Woohoo!
This being the preview week of week 1 of the season. It is this week, probably even to the day, honestly, that Manjot and I started G'day Gridiron 4 years ago. So here we are 4 years later and still going strong. We're into 160 odd episodes and yeah, a whole lot of craziness. Brad came along a bit later and of course Nick last year, the year before. God, I can't remember. It's been an absolute blur, but we're here, 4 years old, and still going strong, boys.
It's bloody amazing, is what it is. So we've got to be the longest running in Australia, or at least one of, if not
one of. I think there's a couple that are all around the same age as us. To be honest.
Yep. Yeah. Well, but I mean, selfishly, I would say we're the best in Australia.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, Brad. We are the best.
You have to be selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm a realist.
Hey, look, I've listened to all the others, and we're the only Australian NFL-based podcast out there who has a current Australian gridiron player on their roster. A former coach. We're the only one of those. And then there's just me and Isaac, basically.
It's not just me and Isaac.
Come on now.
You're the grease that makes the pig squeal.
I am used to organising things. It does come naturally to be a bit of a taskmaster and a dickhead every day, and annoy people. But yeah, look, I am super thankful. Manjot and I had a random thought after another podcast went south, and we pulled it together in 2 days and just did a show. And I think it's probably one of the longest shows we've ever done as like just a normal based show because we didn't know what we were doing either. I've learned a lot over the last 4 years. And of course, man, just sort of, he's moved on just doing other just pastry press stuff because life gets in the way sometimes. But MJ comes back to all the podcasts every now and then and shows his face, gives us a whole lot of 49ers love. But of course, we have, we figured it. Brad came back to us because Brad, you were obviously on that show, that previous show with Manjot and I.
Yep.
We found Brad again. That's what Manjot and I said. We found Brad. We finally found Brad again. So I am super happy that you came back. Super happy that you suggested Nick, because that's Nick. It's been great podcasting the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
And then Isaac lately, his knowledge is just nuts. He has a real passion for it. He's in our group chats he's in there making all kinds of videos and promo stuff for the whole network.
Yeah, it seemed like, so obviously Isaac's got like his own sort of page up and running now, so it's good. Like he loves it, which is obviously great. Yeah, it's great. You just keep moving forward. Like I've been on here, I think my first episode was like the first one after the draft last year, so almost 18 months. So it's pretty crazy, actually.
That is wild. Yeah, when you think about it, that is really wild. It's yeah, I can't believe that. So I've known you now for years. Wow. All right.
So it's gone on. Obviously, our shows have gone on different iterations, different lengths. We're trying out different things, and things are going to change again this year.
You bet.
We are still talking about having 2 shows a week. We'll have a a preview show that we'll preview a few games of and give some bets out. And we'll also have a bit of a what did we do last year? It was
It was mainly the previews we did.
no, we had
mainly.
Isaac and I did a reaction show. Sorry,
Okay.
I knew it had come to me. I knew the English would eventually form in my brain. Yeah, so we did an overreaction show every week. So we're going to do something similar each week at the end, probably on a Tuesday or something like that, to come out, or Tuesday night. I will do it probably, and I'll put it out straight away after the week. So we'll talk about the week that was, and then we'll have a preview for the next week, and we'll just keep rolling on. So we will have 2 shows a week. We're going to try and cut them down in length. We have all 4 of us have talked about being more succinct and not just getting to a point, then going on a tangent, and then coming back to the point, because we're all 4 of us are really bad for that.
We're not
It
bad.
may not work, but
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, but let's talk bets. I mean, that's our favorite thing next to talking specific X's and O's.
Obviously, we started up Bloody Best Bets last year, and it was great. That was a great bit of fun. Between the 3 of us mainly, we have our own sort of bets with mates club going on Sportsbet with the 3 of us, and we chuck in some bets and make it around 3 of us, basically the stuff that we put out there into the airwaves, and then a whole lot more other nonsense every week. So we did that all through the season last year, and it was fun, boys. It was a lot of fun. Nick had a stonking record for a while there.
Yeah, he did. He carried us. Yes. Yes, he did.
So that was amazing. So we're going to talk a few bets tonight. I've challenged the boys to come up with 3 or 4 lines or bets that they would want to watch. Things, maybe it's a future, maybe it's something they want to watch every week from a player or a team angle, something like that. And then we'll have a quick chat about some division and Super Bowl and conference odds, like all the fun end of season stuff. We won't go into player awards. I did consider whether we went into sort of player awards and things, but I think we'll talk about that as we go through the year anyway. Things like MVP and offensive and defensive rookie of the years, etc. Manjot does a huge thing on that because he has his pastry performers every single year. So it's kind of an MJ domain, the awards stuff, but we will probably talk about it as we go along. But let's have a chat about some bets. Boys, I assume that you've all got something in the works, like a few there in front of you.
Absolutely.
So, who wants to start us off with one?
Let me throw one at you to start off here. So, Nick, you can kind of be the voice of reason if you don't agree with me or not on this, because this actually has to do with your team. So the bet is a Christian McCaffrey prop bet. So specifically, you guys know how much I've always loved an under, but I'm going to turn over a new leaf this season, and I'm going to look at some of the overs. So I'm going with Christian McCaffrey on the over for 7.5 rushing touchdowns. So I believe it's still at 7.5. But to me, the 49ers were the most injured team last season. And that can't happen again. You're not going to see that. And I think there's a lot of recency bias with McCaffrey for his injury, but everybody has said, and Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but he should be fully back from his injury. And I think this is their kind of last Super Bowl push this season because they're getting older. And I think that you got to remember in 2023 when McCaffrey had his best season with the 49ers, he had 8 rushing touchdowns by week 7. And it's 7. The line is 7.5 now for the whole season. So I just think that I really do think this is kind of the 49ers' last-ditch effort to win a championship. And I think they're going to rely heavily on McCaffrey. They're going to throw all the chips in, and he's going to get a lot of touches. And I think he'll get that 8 touchdown, with 5 games left to go, potentially. So I like it. And even the bet potentially of him leading the league in touchdowns That's paying 15 to 1. So I would consider that as well. I don't know, Nick. What do you think? Do you think that's a viable thing?
It's one of the things that caught my eye. I looked
Mm,
at it, it was at 7.5, and I thought, oh, that seems reasonably low. And then
that's
I
what I
did a bit
thought.
of digging.
Okay.
I did a bit of digging in terms of the stats. And I'll tell you my other sort of reasoning to back this up
Hmm.
in a moment in terms of what I've heard over the off season and stuff. But um, he's only actually gone over that in his career twice,
Okay.
rushing touchdowns. Now, there's two reasons for that. One is obviously injuries in the past, but two, he actually has a lot of those taken away due to receiving touchdowns.
Ah, okay.
So
Yep.
I think a lot of that is due to
Mm.
like because that year 2 years ago he had I think oh at least 5 or 6 touchdowns that we're receiving.
Yeah.
There's the same case in Carolina. Those early days was the same. So that was one leg to it as to why I didn't go for that when I those numbers stood out for me on the screen. The
Hmm.
other one is reports. Yes, I can confirm has been at training. The other thing though is that I am very scared. I mean, we are very scared. Manager will say the same about the Achilles tendonitis. That
Okay.
is a big thing to get over.
Hmm.
And I think the inclusion of Brian Robertson Jr. just is sort of that safe haven as to, yes, could be a fantastic number two,
Hmm.
but could also be very much taking a lot of sort of number one snaps. So
Okay.
I'm curious to see because I've got a feeling there could be a chance that there may be a game or two where they sort of pull him and there's a bit of load management. We do have a soft schedule. So like if we're out ahead and, things are working well,
Hmm. Hmm.
in, obviously in that sort of world, that could be the case. But
Was it
obviously,
was
if
it
he's fit the
was it
full year,
was it specifically rushing touchdowns though, Brad? 7.5 rushing
Yeah.
or seven
Yeah.
and a half touchdowns?
rushing,
Yeah, okay.
It's
rushing, yeah,
rushing.
just rushing.
Yeah. It's
That's still
rushing.
pretty good odds though.
I thought
Um,
so. I really. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I hope you're right because if that's the case, then obviously we'll be in a strong year. Um, yeah, I just
you'll
think
love
there's
it.
just
You'll love it.
yeah, just a little bit scared with the Achilles tendonitis that he's got because that can be hard to sort of shake. Um, And yeah, I think there could be a case of, like I said, if things are going really well, that it could probably be load managed with certain games, given the schedule.
What do you got, Nick, for a first up?
All right, first one. We're going to stay with the same team. Now, the odds are provided by Sportsbet. That's just a little click. We're not actually sponsored by Sportsbet, but if anyone's listening, we'll be more than happy to
Yes.
listen to any sort of sponsorship money that you'd like to throw away. Anyway,
Hey, if you
so
if you're listening for
Brad,
points bet or from Bet365, like I won't discriminate.
That's right.
we're open. We're a free agent on the market, so we can look at anyone. So I went another over under as well. Same team, different stat, different player. So another star on the same side of the ball, but I went with George Kittle,
Okay.
Mm.
who is 900 and a half receiving yards. So he has made this target every single year except only twice since his rookie season. So the only reason he had not reached this target in those 2 seasons is he did have sort of injuries, which I think one year he missed half the year, and there was another year where he missed at least about 4 games, which wasn't too long ago. So obviously a big part to this is you mentioned McCaffrey. A big part of that was, as my sort of reasoning was, if something happens to McCaffrey again, he is literally the go-to guy. So he's going to get a lot of targets.
Hmm.
I can tell by some of the signings that we've had trying to get guys like, Sky Moore and MVS that they're trying anything at receiver. So,
Mm.
yes, we will be running the ball a lot because Brian Robinson, it can be a solid running back. But in terms of when they've got to air the ball out, with Purdy, it's going to be a lot of looks to George Kittle like it was last season. He got to 900 with ease, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets there again.
I,
Excellent.
I like it. Yeah, I hadn't. I mean, frankly, I don't like looking at the 49ers in detail, but but I completely agree with everything you're saying. So yeah, I like that bet.
You still got Brad. You still got to choose a new team for this year.
Well, it ain't gonna be the 49ers, I'll tell you that much. So,
I know who it could be, and it better not be them because It's worse than being a Cowboys
No,
fan.
we need to, because we need to get Brad on a new team for 2025 for his for his sabbatical.
My gap year.
For Brad's gap year. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to. That's what we're calling it, Nick. That's what Brad and I brainstormed the other day. It's Brad's gap year.
Gap year.
Yep.
So it's almost like a uni student, but most uni students have gap years. They don't go to their original plan, so they don't go back to like uni or
No, but this is
anything
Brad's
like
gap
that. So
year.
you got to go back to the Cowboys.
It's his silent
I'll go
protest.
back. I'll go back. I'm not giving up on him.
He could be drinking the Kool-Aid and pick like the Chiefs, and they go all the way, and then it's
We
like, oh
never
well,
know.
here we go.
He's not going to say when he's going back. Just like a normal uni gap year, it doesn't. It may not be
That's
1
right.
year.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, if anyone out there's listening and they have a suggestion for Brad for a team to back for his gap year in 2025, hit us up on the socials at G'day Gridiron everywhere. You'll find the links at linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network. Send us some suggestions for teams, legitimate teams that Brad can back. Even give us a reason. We might run through some in our week 1 previews later on this week when we've got Isaac with us as well. Boys, moving on, I've got 3 actually around the one player. It's kind of the same. It's the same thing. So for my first one, it's a 3-barrel. I love a multi. I'm not necessarily going for a multi, but I found 3 lines around this player when I was looking for a few things that are all very interesting, just in the odds, I think. We're going Bengals. We're going Joe Burrow. That offense is going to be the most explosive offense in all of football in 2025 once again. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown. I don't know, Gesicki might get in there a little bit, but just those few guys are going to be amazing. The offensive line will be amazing and will help them out a lot. So, regular season passing yards for Joe Burrow plus 4,500 regular season passing yards is at 250, which I think is a great line.
Yeah,
because I think he can. Actually, I didn't have a look what he did last year. I was going to go and get that number, but I think 4,500 is well within reach considering the type of year that they had last season.
4,900 last year.
49.
49.
Yep.
Yeah.
So plus 4,500 is at $2.50.
I like it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd take it.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 that I found around that, Joe Burrow for the let's think about 4,500. There's not a lot of players that get over 4,500 in a season as is. 4,000 yard marks are pretty hard to reach. They do still get there, but 4,500 is pretty big. So Joe Burrow for the most regular season passing yards in 2025-26, $5 he's paid.
What?
$5.
Oh, lock it up
right now.
Oh, sell your car, damn it!
and Joe Burrow to have the most regular season passing touchdowns, $5.
Oh, can you parlay those?
I will multi those if I can, Brad. Let's have a go.
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can, at least with Sportsbet, I don't think you can. Sportsbet, please make that a feature.
Yes.
No, it won't. Please toggle on more selections below to create a valid multi-bet. So, unfortunately, not.
No, fortunately not.
They won't let
so
me do it.
So that same person that was listening before from Sportsbet, can you please fix that up as well? As we'll use different odds.
Would you please? Would you?
Different sports book.
Right now, if you go to Sportsbet, you'll get each of those most regular season passing touchdowns and most passing yards for $5 and over 4,500 for 250. I think they are great odds, all 3 of those.
And I would say don't walk, run to get that bet. Yeah, absolutely.
I can only imagine those odds are going to come in. And most of these, you got to remember, most of these futures go away after week 1.
Yeah.
A few stay around week 2, but most go after week 1. And get that on now. Brad, next up.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with this. I loved him in college. Absolutely loved him. But I'm gonna go back to my roots and take the under. Bo Nix on the 24 and a half touchdowns. I'm taking the under on him. And I know people are super high on him this season, at least when it comes to a fantasy perspective. But and so I understand this is a little bit of a contrarian bet, but yeah, hear me out on this. I feel like I'm a big believer that when coaches get tape on you, they force you to do things that are not comfortable, especially a quarterback like Nick's. So I think he's going to struggle a little bit. Teams are going to know what to do. He's playing against a lot better secondaries this season than he did last season. He's projected to play the 10 most the 10 most difficult secondaries this upcoming season. So the top 10 defensive secondaries, he's playing against them. And Broncos, they got an elite defense. So what are they going to do? I think they're going to get ahead, and they're going to be conservative, and they're going to run the ball a whole lot more. So because their defenses are playing against weak offenses. So I'm getting real stat geeky on you, but I think that's the games are gonna go in their favor, and therefore they're gonna get up and they're gonna just play very conservative. That defense could potentially be even better this season. So, and their offensive line is fantastic. They picked they used a second round pick on a running back, RJ Harvey. They signed J.K. Dobbins. They are committed to the running game. So and Nick's, I don't know, last year apparently he hurt his back really bad, and so I think they're going to try and conserve him, keep him upright. And I really would take the under on this one.
I like it.
I love it when you do an under bet, Dad.
Absolutely.
It's good to have Brad back, taking those unders, the fun police.
It is good to have the fun police back.
Absolutely.
Always great to have the fun police back. Nick, what you got? You got another one for us?
All right. Second one I've got. I am not going for an under, but this is I don't know how Sportsbet missed this one. Bit similar to yours in with Joe Burrows. I'm not sort of doing a multi sort of style, but I am going with a quarterback. Take a guess as to what Patrick Mahomes' over under is in terms of passing yards. Have a guess.
Over under, probably around 3,100. I reckon they probably said it.
Passing yards, I would have thought.
Am I over or under at 3,100? Nick?
Oh, that's way under. That's way under, Ian.
I would have said 4,000.
So that is right. So 4,000 is actually the line that is set. Now, why that's so eye-appealing is because he has only not made this target once in his career, and that was actually last year. And he missed it by a whole 72 yards because he sat out the last game.
Oh,
okay.
The Chiefs this year have bulked up at their tackle spot. So they drafted Josh Simmons, who, if he works out, can keep himself healthy. Is going to be great. Is going to be great protection for Patrick. They've also, obviously, Rashid Rice can understand, he's going through that thing at the moment. He's going to be suspended for about half a dozen games. He'll be back at some point. They've got Xavier Worthy going into year 2. This is definitely, and one thing as well was that they have spoken all off season about being more aggressive down the field, so taking more shots. So he's going to get chunk plays more often. I don't think it's going to be much of a dink and dunk. I think if anything you see from the Chiefs as a whole this year, I don't think they're going to be that feared team defensively where it's just going to be locked down like that Patriots team from 10 years ago or 15 years ago where it was just, they win games 17 like the Steelers do. Like they
Hmm.
win games
Hmm.
17-10 or 13-10 and something. I don't think that's going to be as much this year. I think there's going to be more shootouts and chief games, and I think that's going to turn into a lot more of chunk plays from Patrick. I think this is probably the year. Like you could see this in the regular season. There's been sort of a gradual slide a little bit in terms of his production in the regular season. Last year wasn't great, so I think this year, if anything, if you're looking for an MVP potential candidate, definitely could be Patrick's way. Because considering how they were embarrassed, the last time that they were embarrassed in the Super Bowl, he won the MVP. He went for 4,600 yards. So that's something as well to take out of it. So Patrick over the 4,000 yards for this season.
Hmm,
I like. Yeah. No. I would agree with that totally.
I like it. I got a guy next up who won me a lot of money last season. Last 2 seasons in Carolina, we're going down to the Panthers. This guy has had a couple of amazing rushing years. Last season, especially over 1,100 yards rushing, 10 TDs rushing, more than doubled his total for any of the previous years in touchdowns. 2023, he got 900 rushing yards, and his line is currently set at 950. And I am, of course, talking about Chuba Hubbard.
I love it. I
who
love it.
brought me home in a lot of multis last year, and I was well into it. His line is currently set at 950, and he had a stonking year last year. Why am I picking Chuba Hubbard to go over that this year? Well, so far in preseason, the Panthers have had a little bit of bad luck with keeping receivers healthy and on the field. Now, of course, they did pick up Ted McMillan in the draft. They got second-year player Xavier Legette. Hunter Renfrow is back this week. Why is Hunter Renfrow back? Well, because Jalen Coker, the other second-year wide receiver, went straight to IR with a season-ending injury. So they've got Hunter Renfrow back. I don't think they're going to throw as much as we thought, because this is also comes right off the back of them trading Adam Thielen back to the Vikings as well. All this happened this week after they traded Thielen back to the Vikings.
Okay.
So just this week, I sort of went, you know what? I think that they might go back to the run quite a lot. And his line, when I went and had a look, is sitting at 950.5. And I like that, actually. I like that for a line for Chuba, and I think that's a pretty good bet. His total TDs is sitting at 6.5 for a line as well. And as I said, he got 5 2023 and 10 last year in 2024. So that could even go for a nudge as well. He'd be a guy to look out week to week. If you look at the matchups, look out for Chuba Hubbard and what his line is each week, depending on the matchup as well.
Sweet. All right. Okay, real quick. Mine's kind of not a superstar guy, but Keon Coleman for the Bills.
Nice.
I think he's going to have that sophomore bump that we hear so often about. So he's going to have the bump. And last year he finished with 29 catches, 556 yards, average 19 yards a catch, 4 touchdowns. The bet is I'm taking the over on his 750 receiving yards and the 4.5 touchdowns. So I just think, yes, the Buffalo has a little bit of wide receiver by committee, but I think he's going to take that next step up. And plus, the other biggest factor that sold me on this was his he was injured. He had a wrist injury, and he missed 4 games. So he still led the Bills, even with missing 4 games. He led the Bills in targets thrown in the end zone. So, and I think they're going to continue to rely on him so that you're going to get the touchdown production. And just with those numbers, who else? They got Palmer, but Palmer couldn't even beat out Quentin Johnston for San Diego. I don't have a ton of faith in Palmer. So yeah, I just think it's a kind of a quiet one, but I think Coleman is going to have a decent season this year.
Nice. Nick, another quick one.
Another quick one. I have gone with I've gone with the player award. I know we mentioned that we sort of weren't touching on it, but gone for a bit of a player award bet here. So he is the favorite to win this award. But I just think in terms of the other candidates that might potentially get this award, I think he could be a clear-cut sure thing for this award. And I'm actually going with Aiden Hutchinson for the comeback player of the year. So in terms of the other candidates that could be there, Dak Prescott could be a guy. Obviously the bum with having George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Obviously the Cowboys, as we all know, with losing Parsons. So, there could be in a lot of shootouts, so he could get bumps in terms of like his stats if he stays upright and healthy. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey's another guy. Like I said, I have unfortunately some reservations about what he could potentially be. Then there's some other guys like potentially Max Crosby's there, obviously JJ McCarthy. So guys that could be there, but I just think the track that Hutchinson was on last year before he went down, he was actually my pick last year to be Defensive Player of the Year. And I'm very positive that if he had stayed upright, that would have held true, that he would have stayed the Defensive Player of the Year because he was on an absolute tear. I think the Lions defense gets back to what it was towards the start of the year. I think offensively they'll pull back just with those guys that they had lost on their offensive line. And obviously with Ben Johnson. Obviously Aaron Glenn's not there, but I think that defensively they'll look a lot better than what they were last year. So Aiden Hutchinson for me, he's paying $3.60 as the comeback player of the year, which is the favorite. So that is my pick for the comeback player of the year.
Nice.
I like it. And to couple off that a little bit, one quick one for me to go for. It's a whole range of guys that you can pick from. We're talking defensive props. We're talking defensive ends. All the top guys, Trey Hendrickson, Myles Garrett, Danielle Hunter, Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, Aiden Hutchinson even, all the top guys are all sitting, their under-over for sacks this year is sitting around the 12.5 or 12.25 to 12.75 range. So somewhere in that 12 to 13 range, all of them are sitting there. All these guys achieved over that last season. The majority of them were sort of 12 or over. Of course, Hendrickson was the leader in that at 17.5 and Myles Garrett at 14. I think a lot of them can give that number a touch-up this year. And my pick of the bunch would actually be Brad's boy, Micah Parsons.
Nice.
His is 12.75. I think he is going to eat at the Packers, and he will be on a renewed sort of sense of urgency and want to prove himself in a new place. And I think that's the best one. They're all sort of sitting around that $1.83 mark as an under-over, but they're 12 sacks, basically around that 12 to 12.5 sack range.
Yeah, the revenge tour will be real.
Yeah, the other guy on that kind of revenge tour a little bit would be Henderson himself. So Hendrickson himself. So yeah, but yeah, they're all sitting there, all top guys, and we don't talk. I just wanted to bring that up because we don't talk defensive props that often. You don't get them that often.
No, they don't offer them very much.
No, they don't come up on everyone. So
which is a pity.
Hit that up if you want to, boys.
Aussie.
It might be pretty obvious, but I am not Matty C.
NFL.
Absolutely stoked to have it on the podcast, mate. Welcome.
Fantasy.
Tay, I think it's time you just abused your mate here.
Would you rather be fighting zombies or aliens?
Find hidden gems.
And with that, we're into some breakouts.
I'm glad you're stalling because my results last week were a hot piece of ass.
We all had our struggles, mate.
We've unzipped the pennies and it's time to put the pennies in the pit. Let's do it.
I'm taking Trey McBride.
I'm just leaning on the old tuck shop, tuck graft.
And all of a sudden, he's just lighting them up.
catch starts of the week.
I'm just going to go ahead and take Goff at Chicago.
So I'm going to go running back. I'm going to take Travis Etienne.
I'm going to go ahead and take your boy Ty Tracy.
I'm going to take Adam Thielen.
So I'm going to go and take Richo against Tennessee.
I'll take Matt Stafford.
Just to float out the Dalton Kincaid.
I'm actually going to take Caleb against the Lions.
Friday and Sunday all season long. The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
Thanks to the Aussie Gridiron Network.
Got to give me the dance floor. I'll probably fucking snap the floorboards.
Let's have a real quick talk about Super Bowl and playoff props. So, throw out one or two for me real quick each that you sort of look at when you look at those props. How are you feeling about where they're sitting in terms of playoff matchups or Super Bowl winners at the moment, Brad?
I think it's hard to pick individual ones, so I like to go with value. Where am I seeing the value in the picks? And for Super Bowl, I see value with two teams. Basically, they both have the same odds, but I like the Rams and the Commanders. So I just think they're paying 18-1. So I think, especially the Rams, I think they could be, if they stay healthy and things fall their way, they could definitely be the best team in the NFC this season. So for paying $18, I'm not selling my car on it, but I like the value on that. So,
and you're talking Super Bowl winner,
correct?
18-1.
I am talking Super Bowl winner for that. So I would the Rams or the Commanders. I think I like the Rams because a little bit more than the Commanders at that line, just because I think the Rams are a better team than the Commanders. But so that's my big Super Bowl one.
I've been talking because I've been talking about Bills a lot. We talked about that at the end of the last show. Bills are at $8 for a Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, which is it's fine. It's just not great in my opinion. I'm not getting a ton of value on that.
No, I get that part. I like that. The other part was if I wanted to have a bit of a real long shot on this, I threw out at the end of our last episode for me. Bills-Vikings Super Bowl matchup, that's $46. So I'd be happy with that as a bit of a future, just for a dumb couple of buck bet, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just to throw a bit of money on it. But in terms of AFC, NFC championship winners, they're all sort of around that top one. I like your Rams one. Rams are paying $9.50 for NFC championship winner, so they would have to be the championship winner to get there, Brad.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty good money.
Yeah, it is.
Nick, couple of quick things just on playoffs or Super Bowl?
Well, if purely from a Super Bowl one, I think if you're going value hunting for the same sort of odds that Brad was getting with the Rams and the Commanders, bit outside the box, but if you're looking at value, you could look at the Bengals. I mean, you could come at it from the standpoint of, what happens if they have an average defense in the league instead of, a bottom five defense?
Yep.
So, you go through that. Who knows? That offense isn't going to, be even if they're like a tiny bit worse, bit of value there. Obviously the other one I had, and this is more off the back of me being a bit more bullish on the Packers, obviously even before the Micah Parsons trade, but the Green Bay Packers to be the number one seed, paying $7.
Okay.
For the NFC number one seed, which I didn't mind. Yeah, those are the two that I sort of thought that if there's a bit of value, could be something there.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying on that. Yeah, I think I like that.
My insane division previews in full flight. I'm just having a look because I had a couple of teams to be 6-0 in their division in regular season games. I had the Ravens being 6-0 in that division, and they're paying $6.50 to do that. And I kind of like that, to be honest. The other one I was just having a quick scroll for was actually the Buffalo Bills, because I had them going 6-0, $4.50. I actually think that could be spot on, considering what that East division is like. AFC East is like.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Bills to be 6-0 in the AFC East is $4.50. And
Okay.
yeah, I kind of like it. So,
Yeah.
but that's some bloody best bets previews and some futures, and we'll have more of this kind of thing every single week when we do our preview shows. But they'll be more specific to games and lines we like for that week. So make sure you tune in for those shows. We'll always have a bit of a bloody best bet segment somewhere in a show, real quickly, and it'll just be us throwing out the lines we like for that week. Make sure you tune into socials, because I am going to one of my goals for this season is for me to get better at putting social media content up and out there to promote our podcast. And one of those things we talked about was putting out some of these best bets on our socials, our individual ones. So I'm going to try and really push myself to do that. I know Isaac's pretty keen to help me do a lot of it, so that'll be very helpful. So look out for that on our socials. Once again, at G'day Gridiron, everywhere. You'll find all the links at linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network, which will find all the links to the rest of the shows, Fantasy Show, Manjots, Pastry Press, NFL. If you look on YouTube, you'll be able to find our podcast on YouTube. Search for Aussie Gridiron Network. The other thing I really want to leave you with, boys, the tipping competition. I've sort of failed to talk about it the last few weeks. We are currently sitting at 48 members in that tipping competition. So 48 people have entered our tipping competition for 2025, where you will have the chance to win a custom NFL jersey, NFL shirt, or something from a merch store for second place, or some AGN merch or an AGN merch pack for third place. Jump on to ESPN Footy Tips. That's the app. Basically, it's the ESPN Footy Tipping. Search for Aussie Gridiron Network, or go to the link tree, and it's one of the top links right there on the page. Go there, enter. It is absolutely free to enter. Put your tips in every week. You could win yourself your own custom, whatever you want, custom NFL jersey. You tell me what you want on the back of it. As long as they'll let us put it on the back, we'll put it on the back. But yeah, you can have a player, whatever you want. If you're the kind of person that hasn't really got a jersey yet, this could be a chance to get one for free. We doled out a jersey to a guy last year that won. He ended up with a Saquon Barkley jersey. He hadn't had really, one of Manjot's mates hadn't really had many jerseys around, and he is absolutely stoked. I managed to get him the black Super Bowl special Eagles jersey as well. Nice. And he was absolutely stoked at that. It looks mint, even for an Eagles jersey. So, footy tipping. Jump on a G'day Gridiron, AGN footy tipping comp, and try and win yourself some NFL merch. Other than that, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Make sure you look out for the preview show for Week 1 previews for the 2025 NFL season, or later this weekend. We hope to see you back sometime soon. See you later.